Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lucky Dog Gen 6 series here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Quite possibly one of the most iconic racetracks in definitely in all of the United States, right up there with Daytona International as one of our crown jewel racetracks, but, in the world, home to the Indianapolis 500 here. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is a league favorite track. I mean, we've got two drivers starting here. I want to say three drivers here starting up here inside that top five that absolutely adore this track. I know that 429 there, he's been waiting for Indianapolis to roll around. This is his favorite track that we run. Gary Sapinski, no slouch here. Paul Witt, Gary Sapinski go at it race after race every time we visit Indianapolis. And then we can't forget Derek Garrison there on the outside. In that 139 car, he's going to be a monster to beat tonight. And if he can get through traffic, we've seen Michael Pegg do some wild things, not just at Indianapolis, but just about everywhere. He's going to be one to keep an eye on. So let's go ahead and let's get through our starting lineup. Before we get too deep into anything, starting here on pole, be the 78 of Gary Sapinski. To his outside will be the 139 of Derek Garrison. In second. In third, we have the 429 of Paul Witt. And to his outside in fourth, we have the number 9 of Mr. John Held. Starting in fifth, we have the 129 of Kim Kraus. Changing it up on us tonight, running a Petty Blue STP car. Not used to seeing that, so that's going to be a hard car to miss all night long. Starting to his outside in sixth, we have the 19 of Mr. Ben Gear. Behind them in seventh, we have the 25 of Mark Berry. Starting in eighth to his outside, we have the 44 of Jacob Edson. We know Jacob here, no slouch. Everyone's going to have to keep on their toes around him, because if he sees a spot to take, he'll take it. We know that Jacob is fast. He gets faster every race he runs here in Lucky Dog. I expect we'll be talking about him before this is over. Starting in the ninth position, we have the 777 of Michael Pegg, and to his outside in 10th, we have the 147 of Michael Day. Starting in 11th, we have the 146 of Jason Cavaney. I'm getting mixed up here. Jason Cavaney. To his outside in 12th, we have the 149 of David Berry. Oh, that's a beautiful Hot Wheels car. Starting in the 13th position, we have the 71 of Dirty Don, and to his outside in 14th, we have the 59 here of Ralph Blair. Starting in 15th position, we have the 52, Gary Whitmer Sr. Starting to his outside would be me, but I am in the booth this evening. Finally got back to where I could run practice with these guys. Starting in 17th, we have the 24 of Jason Adams. In 18th, looks like he's not on the track currently. But starting in 18th, we have the 89 of Randolph Richard. Starting in 19th, we have the 6 of Brian Pierce. In 20th, we have the 91 of Joel Guy. Green flag is out. Going 3 wide already. Paul Witt giving a fantastic push to the 78 of Gary Sapinski as they head off here into turn 1. Derek Garrison hanging strong there on the outside. Oh, look at 129 below the yellow line. He's in the grass, keeps it going in the right direction. 3 wide for Michael Pegg and Michael Pegg. Turn 2, everyone keeps it pointed in the right direction. They get it sorted. Looked like maybe he just got a little bit loose, maybe a little bit of a bump going through there. They make it through the start. They make it through just fine. 24 of Jason Cavaney is, not Jason Cavaney, Jason Adams is off pit road. Looked like he might have had a little bit of an issue. We go ahead and we take it back to the front here. Garrett Harrison able to clear the 78 of Gary Sapinski as they head down that front straightaway. They have single filed out Garrett Harrison. It's very difficult to get that run there on the outside at a track like Indianapolis. Gary Sapinski goes for that pass on Derek going into turn 1. They are side by side. Derek doing what he can to really pinch that 78 down, keep that car getting really tight. As Gary goes ahead and falls back, this pass on Derek this is going to take laps to set up, especially at a track here like Indianapolis. This is not going to be an easy place to make that pass. I mean, if these guys see that pass and they're able to make it early, they'll make it early. but it is not going to be an easy one. I mean, they're going to need help, especially in the early stages while everyone is on those fresh tires. You see those guys flirting with that wall as they come there out of turn 2. Gary Sapinsky got another really good run on Derek Garrison, but he's staying bumper locked with him this time. He is pushing him all the way down that front stretch, trying to get Derek to maybe overdrive that corner, get him to burn that right front tire off. Talking with these guys in practice, this car is tight tonight. I mean, we're used to running some fairly tight race setups here in these Gen 6 cars. iRacing doesn't update these setups with any regularity anymore. So what iRacing gave us is really what we have. But even for the Gen 6 car, it is especially tight. This car does not want to turn left here. Not certain that has to do with a cold track temperature, if it's got to do with the overcast skies, you know, Indianapolis. Today is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a let's see if I can get a little bit, yeah, we're going to get a little bit better look here. That is a dark cloud cover that they have going for them right here, and that's Gary Sapinsky's underneath Derek Garrison again going into turn 1. Going through turn 1, Derek hangs on to it. He's forcing Derek to move up the track. And that's really going to hurt his tire wear in the long run. See Derek seeing exactly what Gary's doing, trying to break that draft as they go down the backstretch. Gary didn't follow him. Derek realized, well, he's still got that push from that 429. I don't know if breaking the draft is really going to do what I need it to do. They head here into through turn 4, lap 4 of 65. This is a 2.5-mile track. Same length as Daytona International, but these, I mean, you can tell these lap times are very different. Gary Sapinsky's able to draw alongside Derek Garrison going into turn 1 once again. Gary not able to get the throttle like he wants to get through that corner to try and take that position away from Derek Garrison. He's going to have to be ahead of Derek, like a nose ahead, maybe half a car length ahead of Derek by the time they make it into turn 1 for him to really be able to make that pass work. I think he and Paul Witt are doing everything they can. You can see that 429. He is tucked right up to the back of that 78 car, trying to push them, you know, trying to push Gary, trying to get him at least alongside, if not past, that 139 of Derek Garrison. Derek, we see him race after race. He is a fast guy, very difficult to pass, very difficult to keep behind you. Once he gets out front, it's like trying to pass a wall of air. You get beside Derek, and all of a sudden the handling of your car just seems to go away. Derek knows how to manipulate the virtual air on the sides of these cars. To go ahead, and we're going to take a look back here. 429 of Paul Witt looking to maybe make a pass happen on Gary Sapinsky. He got that side draft to happen, so he's able to get alongside. See if he's able to make this pass stick. We know that Gary Sapinsky's been unable to make that pass on the inside. Ooh, that was close. Gary Sapinsky almost made contact with the wall. Paul Witt is able to get alongside, but not able to get that momentum that he needed to complete that pass. I mean, he got about halfway there, but just not quite. We go ahead and we take a look back to that 4th position. John Held in that number 9 Tide Ride. He's still got the 19 of Ben Gear with him. These guys just watching these front guys race for all their worth. This is 44. Jacob Edson here. He's trying to go for a pass on the 19 of Ben Gear. Not quite able to get there. Looks like not certain where these guys are going to have to make this pass. It's like just about everyone's having issues making their way through the field. Just about the only person, I mean, Derek Garrison started second running first. Gary Sapinsky, do this way. Derek Garrison here started second running first. Gary Sapinsky here started first running second. Paul Witt, this man is right where he started. John Held, right where he started. Same with Ben Gear made 8th position. He started 6th. He's running 5th. Remember, our 5th place driver, Kim Krause, had a little bit of a moment going there between turns 1 and 2 on that first lap. He's dropped back to 8th. Jacob Edson in the 44, he made up a couple spots. But his forward momentum here seems to have stalled out a little bit. It's really going to depend on how the guys ahead of him are able to manage their tires, I think. If he's going to start making some progress forward right now, it's definitely going to be one of those that a lot of folks are going to try and make up some time on pit road. These guys don't have enough fuel to make it halfway, so we've got 2 stops at least tonight, and that's really going to shuffle up this field. We've seen things get really strung out here in Lucky Dog once pit stops start happening. We've seen things get really bunched up once pit stops start happening, so it's going to be an interesting one to say the least. These guys keeping right together. That is how powerful the draft is here at Indianapolis. And as we're talking about people moving through the field, 777 of Michael Pegg, he is up to the 7th position. He started 9th. So not making the same, the amount of strides that he would like, but at the same time, he's making moves. He's got some help there with that 129 of Kim Kraus. Kim looking to try and get back a little bit further up through the field after that lap 1 moment. That car doesn't appear to have any damage, so realistically, he should be okay. It looks like he's got a good pusher right there behind him with the 146 of Jason Cavany. And that Kevin Harvick ride. Man, I love that car. I want to say that's probably one of my favorite cars that we have here in Lucky Dog. As a beautiful car, as he gets it a little sideways there, keeps it pointing in the right direction. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look just a little bit further back. Jason here started 11th, running 9th. So he's making some forward progress. Mark Berry, though, in that 25, kind of going the wrong way. Started in 7th, currently running 10th. Holding strong right now, just staying in the draft, saving his stuff, I would imagine, making sure that he's got something here towards the end of this. As we look back to the 149 here of David Berry. You know, if there was an award for favorite paint, I'm going to go ahead and have to say, between the 146 of Jason Cavany, this 149 Hot Wheels car, and John Held's Tide Ride, like, those are the guys who'd be racing for it every week, I think. These guys looking beautiful, as Jason Cavany looks like he got in the wall there little bit. 25 of Mark Berry went by. Jason Cavany going for that cutback, not going to be able to maintain that momentum. He slots back up in line. That'll drop him down a position, but that 149 car, that, man, enough gaga over that car. That's we'll just leave it at this. That's a good looking car. We'll take a look back to the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. Gary here started 15th. He's up to 12th, so he's making some moves up through the field. We'll definitely see how the folks ahead of him racing, if they're able to, they're able to pull him up with them towards the guys ahead of him, or if he's able to overtake them as they race side by side, as the 146 and the 149 race side by side here. This is a battle for the 10th position. Looks like Berry had the point going in the corner. Cavany pulls up, just sort of lets him go by. Now, probably thinking it's too early to be racing like this. We need to get caught up to the guys behind us. Sorry, guys ahead of us. So we take a look back here to the 13th place, the 91 of Joel Guy. Joel here, he started, back in the 20th position. He's up to 17th. So Joel Guy, currently our biggest mover of the race. He's making stuff happen. So congratulations there to the 91. Take a look back a little bit further into the 14th position. We got the 6 of Brian Pierce here in the Lucky Dog Sim Racing Chevrolet. He started back in 19th. He is up to the 14th position, so he is making some pretty good strides there, working with the 71 there of Dirty Don in 15th. And, again, I talk about good-looking paints. The only reason I can't say that that's the best looking paint here is because I'm a little biased. I made it. So I gotta tell you, Brian, that car looks fantastic, but I cannot put you in running for the best looking car of the evening. But man, it looks good out here. As that 71 of Dirty Don goes for that pass on the 6, trying to make that stick there around the bottom. Looks like he's able to clear The number 6 of Brian Pierce goes ahead and falls back behind Dirty Don. That was the battle for 13th position. These guys probably going to do their best to work together to get back towards that front. They've got about 2 seconds to make up there on the 91 of Joel Guy. That'd be the next car for position. Take a look back. We got the 59 of Ralph Blair, just sort of riding, just chilling behind these guys. Not really in any hurry. We know Ralph Blair does a lot to try and take care of his ride, try and be there at the end. And so that's probably what he's going to be doing for quite a while. We check back just a little bit further to the 146 of Jason Cavity. Jason here on pit road. He's still just sitting in that box. Not certain. Maybe he got some damage to the right front of that car. I don't know. The car looks fine. Hopefully everything is all right there with the 146, but that'll drop him from from where he was running back to the 17th position. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look back one more time to what is now the 17th position. This would be the 24 of Jason Adams. Started 17th, running 17th. Looked like he sort of missed the start of this race. So he's back here, 24 seconds off the lead. That's about half a lap here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Little less than half a lap here at Indianapolis. Sort of just running by himself. He's going to have the benefit of clean air, but on the flip side, he's got no one to work with. So anyone who's able to draft, they're going to have a lot of advantage on him. It looks like the 146 was able to get back out. Looked like he was taking some optional repair. That'd be my guess. So go ahead and we'll keep an eye on that, Jason. We get a caution as of right now, would be in the lucky dog position. 147 of Michael Day. Here, he went a lap down. He went ahead and he pitted here 3 laps ago. So I'm wondering if maybe he saw something there on those fuel numbers that I didn't. He might, maybe thinking that he might be able to make it from there. And actually, I thought this was a 100 lap race, 65 laps. These guys might be able to do it in one stop. Silly me thinking this was a 100 lap race. We'd probably be here all night, especially with the tire fall off. I mean, these guys at their fastest turning, Derek Garrison turned a 50.58 as his fastest lap. But as we go ahead and we cut back here towards the front, they've already dropped off 3 full seconds of time. His fastest lap was a 50.5. He's running in the 53s now. Him, Gary Sapinski, John Held. Gary Sapinski, who has fallen back half a second. John Held here, he's fallen back 2.5 seconds almost. He's got the 44 of Jacob Edson all over his rear bumper. Looks like the 429 of Paul Witt. Maybe he's fallen off the most back here into the 5th position, 3 seconds behind the leader. Wonder if maybe he had a moment where he really had to get out of the throttle. I mean, we were talking early how tight these cars are. And as the grip goes away, as this track rubbers in, it's just going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. And you're just kind of holding on for dear life here at some point. We take a look at Paul Witt. I mean, just looking at Paul, his last time by was a 53.5. He's currently about a 1/10.5 slower than the leader. Still a little bit faster than the 777 of Michael Pegg behind him. Michael, who's just out of draft reach on Paul. If he catches Paul, it'll be entirely based on speed, which is kind of the boat that Gary Sapinski's going to find himself in before too long. He's got a decent pull from Derek Garrison, being only about a half a second back, but that's going to, the only thing I think keeping him up there right now is that draft. I mean, the dirty air that the 139 is able to throw over the nose in 78, that's really going to ruin the 78's ability to run decent lap times here at Indianapolis. Now, here's a fun thing. These guys can make it halfway. I'm thinking. These guys can make it halfway on fuel. But what if you pit on lap 20? What if you make 2 stops for tires? Because these guys, like I said, they've been running 20 laps. They've already let off 3 seconds. Could you make up the time on pit road? It looks like someone's going to make that call for 29. Paul Witt hits pit road. He knows he's not going to win doing what these guys are doing. Now, the great thing about Indianapolis, it's a long pit road. But you usually can come down pit road, take 4 tires of fuel in these Cup cars, and get off pit road before the leader catches you. So Paul Witt should be able, Derek Garrison and Gary Sapinski here going through turn 3 through the short chute towards turn 4. Paul Witt should be able to get off pit road and exit just ahead of these guys. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at that. We're going to keep an eye on Paul. He's down and away. These two not even to the start-finish line. Just now, they crossed that yard of bricks. Paul Witt should be at full song here by the time he makes it 2/3, 3/4 of the way down that backstretch. These lead lap cars here behind him, they're just going through turn 2, so they can see Paul Witt ahead of him. But those fresh tires, he is going to take off. And look at this, the 139 trying to break that draft. He sees Gary Sapinski. I mean, Gary's faster. Gary's about half a tenth faster. Just about. And Derek Garrison doing everything he can to try and break that draft. It looked like Gary may have scraped the wall just a little bit with that right rear there. Not enough to really hurt that car, but that 139, he's thinking, I got to break this draft because that 78 is starting to get a little bigger in my mirrors. They go by this time. Ooh, Derek Garrison able to pull 2/10 on Gary Sapinski. At least that's what the time says here, but Gary Sapinski still reeling Garrison in. And Gary Sapinski is just, this is really when he starts to show, oh, caution is out. Looks like the 59 of Ralph Blair is slow on the track. Ooh, so what does this do? Paul Witt just came down pit road 2 laps ago. Everyone in front of him needs gas. Let's go ahead and let's go back and see what happened to this 59 here. Looked like he had a little bit of a moment. He, the 71 and the 91, they're coming here. Oh, what happened? Him and the 91 just take a look one more time. Was that net? It looked like the 59 was moving up the track to try and get a little bit of a side draft, get a little bit of a better corner entry. There with that 91, let's see. Not certain if that was actual 71 of Dirty Don. Manages to keep it out of both of them. We're going to watch from our friend the Chopper Cam. I want to see, did we have... He goes up there to get that side draft. There he goes. Oh. Like one of those, he came up. I think we see the 91 come off the wall just a little bit, not too much. But I think that's net code. That 91 really starts cutting across the nose of that 59 well before they even make contact. And I say well before they even make contact. We'll go back. I'm not a huge fan of using the chase cams. So we'll go ahead and we'll ride along with the 91 here in the chase cam. Just go ahead and get a look here. But I'm going to go ahead and say that, yeah, just before they made contact, that 91 started coming around down the track. Looked like a little bit, not some egregious net code, but it definitely looks like iRacing figured they were gonna wreck. It was unfortunate for the 91 and the 59. Both those guys just kind of hanging on to their cars, just kind of seeing what would happen as everybody comes down pit road. Only person who opts to stay out is that 429 of Paul Witt. And, like we were talking about, could they make it? Could they potentially make it there halfway? Probably. But would they be able to maintain the speed they would need to keep ahead of someone who pit twice? Now, we've seen people pitting twice here work. We've seen people not, pitting only once work. It really depends on who the players involved are and the kind of race they're having. And with the way these cars are, I mean, I gotta be real with you guys. I don't think there is a snowball's chance in hell that with as much fall off as we've seen, and we were only going to see more as this run went on, I don't think there was a way that these guys were going to be able to run faster than Paul Witt. So what this does, this puts Paul, Derek, Jacob, John, Michael, David, Kim, everybody, puts all of them in the exact same boat. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, as people come off pit road, this is really sort of shaking things up. Paul Witt, obviously, I mean, he stayed out, so he's going to inherit the lead. But that 139 of Derek Garrison, that'll put him in second place. Now, we saw what he was able to do from the outside. He took the lead from Gary Sapinski on that initial start. And so it's very possible that he's able to do it again. What this will also do is this will put that 44 here in third, puts the 9 of John Held back in the fourth place, and it puts the 777 of Michael Pegg in fifth. Now, as these guys take that long way around, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick interview with somebody. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull up that number 9 of John Held. We're going to talk with him real quick. Hey, John, it's William in the booth. You got me?
Hey, William, gotcha.
Hey, so you are restarting fourth here on this restart, same place you started the race. I mean, you saw that 139 at Derek Garrison go around the leader on the outside. You thinking that you can push him and follow him through if he does that again?
Maybe, but you know how I race. I kind of just lay back. I was waiting for a full fuel run. I didn't think we'd get a caution there, so I was saving my tires a little bit. You will get a push at this track. We'll see. You never know with me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's I mean, if there's one car track combination, I think really benefits that strategy of taking care of your tires. It's got to be Indianapolis. I mean, talking with some of the drivers, it's really tight. How's it feel to you?
Yeah, it's pretty tight. I kept it pretty loose for that first half of that fuel run. Saved my tires behind Gary, and they're a couple seconds ahead, but they weren't pulling away from us. So we'll see what we have for them.
Well, I'm going to wish you good luck, John. Looks like you guys are coming to the start-finish line here pretty soon, so I'll send you back to your team. But good luck, and hopefully we get to talk to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thanks, William. Have a good broadcast.
Thank you. As they head back here down the towards the start-finish line, that was the 9 of John Held speaking with us. Paul Witt lead him into that Geico restart zone. Green flag, he's back out. Looks like that 139 got a little better start than the 429 down there on the bottom. Is he going to be able to keep Paul Witt pinned down there to the bottom of that track? Paul is a hard person to pass, but it looks like Derek Garrison, he's got that run. Paul Witt keeps it side by side. He's able to get that side draft. Not quite. Oh, just able to get there. Just able to get there. Where does that 44 go? Does he help the 139? Does he help the 429? Paul Witt able to get that nose out ahead going here into turn 3. But Derek Garrison, he's got that ability to really snuff out that momentum run for the bottom. Paul not able to make that pass work. Not able to clear Derek. So that puts Derek back out in front. See, Derek, he's blocking high, he's blocking low, he's doing everything he can to keep Paul Witt from drawing alongside, but there's only so long you can do that. Paul dives it down low again, trying to make that pass. We saw Gary Sapinski try and make that pass several times, just was not able to get there. We're going to go ahead. He took the time to talk to us, so we're going to do our first ride along here with the number 9 of John Held as these guys are snaking their way. You know what? I don't think we're going to ride with John. I think we need to be a little bit further back. Looked like John got in the wall there. I think we need to be a little bit further back to fully take this in. So I think we're going to ride along here with the 25 of Mark Berry for a lap or two, just to get a full idea of what is happening on the track from the driver's perspective. How long they were having to keep out of the throttle there. Mark just fighting this car to turn. I mean, we've already spoken with, John Held talking about how this car it's tight. I mean, he was able to keep it loose to try and save those tires, but this car is just not wanting to turn, especially back here in traffic. I mean, here's another thing I think we learned. We saw the 78 and the 25. They went around that 52 there on the outside. So I think what we've established, especially watching that 139 defend this lead, that bottom line, that may be the way to go around the track to save tires, but that is not the way to go around this track if you want to make passes. Looks like if they're going to want to pass that 139, they're going to have to pass him high. But with the way you have to enter the corners here, I mean, you go from right up along that wall to right there along that white line. You're not going to get to the outside of that 139 unless you have a monster run coming out of the corner. You've got a fantastic push from the guy behind. This race started strung out 129 of Kim Kraus. He's got that 9 behind him, looking for a push, trying to get past that 44. Man, he dove it in there. I think that's the first pass on the bottom we've seen stick. He just sent it and went around Jacob Edson like he was standing still. 139 to third place. It's a fantastic pass there from Kim Kraus as he draws up to the rear bumper. Close to of the 429 of Paul Witt. Looks like that sun is coming out here in turns 1 and 2. It got real bright over here. How is that going to affect this track as it starts getting more and more sunlight? I mean, tell me I'm not just crazy. LB Slim Track Racing says, William, you're doing an awesome job calling the race, man. Thank you. You know what? No idea how much that means. Frankly, I hate the sound of my own voice. So, the fact that you think I'm doing a good job means quite a bit. Is that 129? He is still keeping it. Jacob Edson went for that pass there on the outside, just about made it stick. That 129, though, he's still holding on. Just really had to get out of the throttle there. It looked like that 129, like Kim Kraus looked like he was really starting to push really bad there. Under the 44 of Jacob Edson, had to get out of that throttle, stop from running him over. That is not an easy thing to do, especially with as tight as these cars are. It looked like 429 got a little bit of an issue there going down the front stretch. I bet you he had to go ahead and get out of the throttle to avoid getting too much damage to that car. I mean, this is a track. Those walls come at you really, really fast. It is not. Paul Witt slaps the wall there coming out of turn 4. It is not an easy thing. Once these cars start getting really tight to keep it out of that wall. Paul Witt, though, got a train forming below him. That 129, Kim Kraus, the 9 of John Held. Looks like the 777 of Michael Pegg. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between Kim and Paul. That's what we're talking about. That it's just a tight car that these guys are battling. Paul Witt in the wall again. Handling on that car is gone. I mean, he has hit that wall, I want to say, about 3 times. He is now 3 wide going down the backstretch. That's not going to work, fellas. They narrow it down to 2 wide. Paul Witt keeps it out of the wall. He is going in the wrong direction. I bet you this is exactly what happened to him before. He was just, ended up driving that car just a little bit too hard. Got that thing in the wall. He drops back to the 5th position. Derek Garrison, he has set sail. That 44 of Jacob Edson trying to track him down, but behind Jacob, man, he's happy. He's got a whole hornet's nest. That 9 of John Held, we were talking with him during that caution. He is just close enough. He's able to get a good pull there from that 44. At 129, Kim Kraus, man, I swear, it's the tracks like Indianapolis. That's where Kim here really seems to shine, is these tracks. They're not, you're not like, I mean, he's good at Kansas. Don't take this as me saying he's not good at Kansas. But everybody's good at Kansas. Everyone is good at Vegas. It's tracks like Indianapolis where, folks really, when you have a lot of tire fall off, where folks really seem to suffer from, breakdowns. Caution is out. 24 looks like he's slow on the track. That's Jason Adams. 13 laps on these tires, man. I tell you what, I think everybody is coming down pit road. That's a lot of damage to the right front of that car. Let's see what happened here. Down that front stretch. Close it up. Ooh. Right hooked by, it looked like the 149 of David Berry. I believe that's David. That is. Let's take a look at that again. See if we can get a little bit better look. Looked like that 52 got caught up. 6 just barely missed it. Man, we're gonna watch from our friend the Chopper. I think I know what happened. I mean, it looked to me like the 149 is sort of holding his line there. Yep, that 24 just comes up, trying to get that little bit extra track, be able to dive that thing down. I'm going to guess that looks like one of those, your spotter says you're clear, and the moment he says you're clear, you're not clear. So I would say, Jason, fire your spotter, because he lied to you. Wouldn't pin that on really any one driver. I mean, that's 2 guys. They're trying to get as much as they can out of their cars, and this is a track where you need as much track as you can to make these corners fast. Jason knew that if he entered that corner side by side with Berry, he's seen it from the back. There was no way he was going to be able to hold on to that position. He was going to get freight trained on the outside. I can almost guarantee you that's what's going through Jason Adams' mind. So he's trying to get as much as he can out of that track. And I've run iRacing enough to know that's an instance where your spotter says clear. So that's just a racing deal. Unfortunate for both of these guys. Both having a pretty good night at the time that happened. I mean, they were up in that pack trying to keep up with, trying to make positions, trying to make plays. As everyone here comes down pit road. It's that 149 you saw that rear bumper pop back into place. So that he used fast repair there because he did get tangled with that 52. Garrett Senior here got in the back of him, not quite able to avoid that wreck as it happened right in his lap. Not really much he could do. That 6, Brian Pierce did a fantastic job getting around that. We saw him get woed up real quick. Dive low to avoid that. Maybe just a little brush. Just a little brush to the guy ahead of him, but nothing too crazy. I'll tell you who I want to talk to. I wish he was here in the TeamSpeak call. I want to talk to Derek Garrison. Man, Derek, get the TeamSpeak. I want to talk to you. You watching you on the track, you look like an interesting guy. Interview. So, you know what we're going to do? I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull up Mr. Michael Pegg. We're going to talk with Michael here. He started back in the 6th position. Sorry, he started back in the 9th position. And look at the right person here. 9th position up to 2nd there on that pit stop. So that's someone I think maybe we need to talk to. Hey, Michael, swim in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
So that's I mean, not quite the biggest mover of the evening, but I'd say probably one of the hardest things to do is really crack that top 5. Not only did you crack the top 5, you got yourself up here in 2nd. I'd say preferred lane on this restart. Go ahead and walk us through your race. We talked with John. He was saying the car's tight. I mean, what are you seeing? What's happening?
Yeah, it's super tight. A lot of draft. If you're not hanging out, they'll just walk away immediately. You really got to nail your marks. Just kind of race the track. Try to avoid traffic, not get caught up in it.
And we've been noticing here people trying to pass low. It seems like the hardest thing to do is make positions down there on the bottom. I mean, how do you pass at a track where the car is as tight as it is, and it seems to be as one groove as it is tonight?
You just got to wait for a mistake. Really, it's so tight. There's not much room out there unless somebody goofs up or gives you a little bit of room. You just make an opportunity.
So what do you think it's going to take to get past this 139? We both know Derek is as fast as they come.
Oh my gosh, it's going to take everything. Yeah, he's hard to handle tonight. He's super fast.
Well, you got your teammate of Garrett Sapinski behind you. So I think on this restart, you might have a decent chance. But Derek's got that 9 of John Held. And John's shown a lot of speed tonight. So, I mean, you got a lot of people around you to look out for. Yeah,
it's tough. You want to trade spots?
No, you know what? You try and take this lead on that outside. We've seen this outside prevail every single start tonight. So
good.
We'll keep an eye on that.
I like putting the pressure on me. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Commentators first. Well, it looks like you guys are headed into turn 4. I'll put you back with your team. Good luck, and hopefully we get to talk to you at the end of this.
Okay, buddy. See you.
Thank you. That was Michael Pegg, that 777 there on the outside. You know he's sweating. This is the kind of race, even as patient as you have to be, you've got to be on your toes. Hands up on that wheel, sit at the edge of your seat. Just got 9 right up on the rear bumper of that 139. Green flag is back in the air. Oh my goodness, the start from that bottom. Derek Garrison almost clear, not quite, of Michael Pegg before they make it through turn 1. Is he able to clear it? Not quite. Michael Pegg out there on that right rear quarter panel, right where he needs to be. He's able to pitch that 139 down. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. 139 looked like maybe he slid up a little bit into the 777. It's going to drop him back down into 3rd place, and he's got people like John Held, Paul Witt, Kim Kraus, Jacob Edson. These guys come with a full head of steam behind him. He's got that outside lane, so he'll be able to hold on to that this time. Paul Witt stuck low behind Kim Kraus. What is he going to be able to do? He's going to need some help from someone down low to give him a good draft. Ooh, a little bit of contact between himself and the 129. They keep it pointed in the right direction. Not certain what happened with Michael Pegg when we were watching all of that. He drops back into the 3rd position. Gary Sapinski, he gets the lead, but Derek Garrison going for that pass low, not able to make that stick. That seems to be the common denominator here. Passes low do not seem to be really where any kind of move is made. Gary just command, put that thing out front, and this is where it is so dangerous for everyone behind Gary Sapinski. Once he gets out there, that man knows how to just wheel these cars. You give him just a little bit of fresh air, and all of a sudden he is gone. You can see he's already starting to build a little bit of a gap between himself and the 139. He's doing the exact same thing Derek Garrison did, try to go ahead and break that draft. Not the easiest thing to do, especially at a track like Indianapolis, but it is so vital. About a car length between Gary Sapinski, Derek Garrison, and Michael Pegg. I think once we start really getting down, looks like the 24 of Jason Adams, he's going to throw a monkey wrench in all of this. He's a lap down. He came off pit road just a lap ago, and he's definitely going to be able to make it to the end from here. He's on maybe 1 green flag lap, fresher tires, and everyone behind him. Maybe 2, but it's going to be something challenging to keep it out ahead of Gary Sapinski. He's in danger of going a lap down here. The longer he's there, the more that's going to eat up these top 5's tires. Man, you got a tight race car. This is the last thing you want to deal with. So we'll see what happens when Jason really catches. He's really get caught by Gary. Gary goes ahead, dives low here, going into turn 3. Jason Adams slides that thing up against the wall. That's not going to do him any favor. Yeah, the people behind him any favors. Derek Garrison just absolutely got the rug pulled out from under him on that turn 3 exit. Michael Pegg caught Jason there coming out of turn 4. That really killed that run. Put that 777 right in the lap of 9. That allowed that 129 to pass very low. Tried to make it stick, didn't make it work. He getting freight trained along the outside by the 9, 429, and the 44. It's like he's going to have a nice draft pull there from the 9 of John Held for a second. Not too long. John he's trying to get past that 24 car. Jason Adams, I mean, he pitted when he needed to, but it sure was not a beneficial thing for anyone around him. We'll see how this plays out in the long run. The folks trying to get around that lap car of Jason Adams, it is stacked up. Everybody who was trying to really insert themselves into the conversation for the top 5. But as it stacks them up, that's allowed these top 3, Gary Sapinski, Michael Pegg, Derek Garrison, these guys are really starting to build trying to build that gap. See, things are really stretching out here, so we'll go ahead and see if we can get a little bit of a wider look. About a car length between Gary and Derek, about 2 car lengths between Derek and Michael. Up until that corner entry, you see Derek's really backing those corners up. He's trying to take a lot of the stress off the front of this car because he's been leading this thing. He knows that he needs to have something fresh to be able to challenge Gary later on towards the end of this race. And the other thing, these guys have fought so many times for race wins. They know what it takes to beat each other. The question is, I mean, it's one thing to know. Knowing is, to quote G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle. The other half is doing it. And these two know how to make it difficult. And we'll just leave it at that. It's that 9 of John Held. He is trying so hard. He knows he's got a car. 24, Jason Adams goes ahead. He moves up the track and lets the 9 of John Held get by. John here goes ahead. He inserts himself into that 4th position. And he wasn't 4th, but you know what I mean. He was able to get past that lap car. That lets him go ahead and do what he needs to do to close that gap between himself and the 777. We talked to him. He likes to save tires. Even on short runs, if there's someone who's going to save tires, it's going to be the number 9. And man, he caught right up to Michael Pegg. That is how powerful the draft is here at Indianapolis. Now, if he can just work with Michael Peggs, 44, Jacob Benson, he's looking to do the same thing. Got to the inside of Jason Adams. Jason does the same thing, goes high, lets Jacob go by. Let's check up there a little bit. Got a really good run coming out of turn 3. Lifted a little bit just to go ahead and let that 44 go by. So our top 5 now in a position where they can really fight it out amongst themselves. The odd man out here is at 429 of Paul Witt. He was up with these guys. We look like we got a pass attempt for the lead. Derek tried to dart it down low. It doesn't seem to stick. These guys are going to have to stop one more time before the end of this race, is my guess. I mean, they might not have got, is my math right, 17 laps left in this race, 11 laps on the tires. No, they can make it from here. I'm silly. Ignore me. They can make it from here. So if they can make it from here, the only way... Man, Michael is exactly right. Someone's got to make a mistake. Gary's got to miss a mark. Derek has to be able to capitalize on it. But I don't think Gary's going to make that mistake. I mean, you can see him down there on the driver cam. He is cool as a cucumber. He's got that fresh air. He's able to just glance up in his rearview mirror or down in his car relative just to see how close that 139 is, to know exactly what lane he needs to take. Yeah, you can definitely see that 139 backing up that corner entry. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to take one more ride along, probably the last one. I think we're going to ride with the 44. We're going to ride with Jacob Edson for a lap or two. See what this battle for the top 5 looks like from the car. I wanted to trade spots with him. Riding along with Jacob Edson, I am more than happy to be in the booth. I'll be the first person to admit I suck at this track. I cannot save tires at Indianapolis to save my life. And listening to Jacob Edson, one of the best drivers I've ever had the privilege of racing against here on this iRacing service, just watching him struggle to get this car to turn. And you can hear all those throttle inputs he was having to make just to get this thing to turn. And even then, it just did not want to go. Man, I am so glad I am up here in the booth. I mean, you can tell he's not able to hit exactly the marks that he wants with the way that number 9 is checking up in front of him, but John Held doesn't really have any choice. 777 in front of him is having to, run a little different than than he's used to running, because he's got that 139 of Derek Garrison. I mean, we've seen him backing up his corner entries there, going into turn 1 and into turn 3. So that's compromising Michael's lane. That ain't doing Michael any favors, stacking up the people behind him. But it's exactly what Derek Garrison needs. If these guys are having to jump in the brakes to avoid running each other over, they're probably chewing up more stuff than he is. And that's what he needs. He needs less pressure out the back so that he can focus on what's going on in front of him. And that seems to have worked, because he's pulled himself out about 3/10 of a second, 3/4 of a second here over Michael Pegg. Now, the draft here is so strong, it only takes about a lap for Michael to get back to where he was. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think Michael's in any particular hurry to catch Derek, because we have still, 11 laps left in this thing. There's plenty of time. Derek knows he's got plenty of time. He's going to spend all that time just saving his stuff, waiting to make that pass. He just needs one good run on the 78. Does he wait to the last lap to do it? The next to last lap to do it? When do you go for that pass on Gary Sapinski? He's hard to pass. We've seen Derek try a couple times. He hadn't been trying too often. Definitely not as often as Gary Sapinski tried early on in this race. He had the benefit of watching not only Gary, but the people behind him try and make that pass, and just see them not be able to make it. We see the 9 of John Held. He's going to try on the 777 here of Michael Pegg. I bet you it's not going to stick. He's going to slide in behind that 777. There he goes. There's no speed on the bottom for any of these guys to make a pass. So if that 9 wants to make a pass on that 777, he's going to have to hit it. I don't mean wreck him. He's going to have to give him, the old chrome horn. Give him the bump and run. Just move Michael up out of the way. Or he's going to have to somehow get Michael to block low. Why would Michael block low? The high side has been so dominant when it comes to passes, but get Michael to block low so that he can get a run there on the outside. And I don't see that happening. When you see Gary Slapinski here, he goes into turn 3. You see how wide his corner entry is? I mean, he is leaving that bottom lane wide open to anyone who wants to take it. It's like, if you want to pass me, go ahead, go down there. You're not going to have a run coming off the corner. That's exactly what Gary Sapinski needs to be doing to stay out here. Is it looks like the 91, did he hit that against the sidewall and get over there? No, he was able to make it down pit road. Looked like he almost lost it bringing down pit road, but looks like he's okay. So we'll stay green. I think if we hit that wall hard enough, we probably would have seen another yellow, would have racked these guys back up. Tell you, the one guy hoping for a caution the most. That'd be Paul Witt. It'll probably be a toss-up between Paul Witt and Kim Kraus. Both these guys are fast, but neither one of them really been able to showcase their speed this evening. It's 129 able to make that rare pass on the bottom. And he had a lot of help there from that 149 of David Berry to get around Paul Witt. So he's already doing his best to try and build a little bit of a gap. But again, we know how powerful this draft is. And that 149, David Berry appears to be a really good pusher. Paul Witt already back up to the back bumper of Kim Kraus. Just about. Backs up that corner just a little bit, so he's able to get the best corner arc going through here. It definitely looks like that one, that 429 is wrestling with a particularly tight car. To see him come over the come over the race chat right there. I think he's letting the 140. Yeah, he's letting these guys go. Something is wrong with that 429. I thought something else was going on. No, that car is probably reaching the end of its shelf life here. He's just trying to hang on. We go ahead and we'll head back to the lead. Gary Sapinski still 2/10 of a second over Derek Garrison. Derek got a rear view mirror full of Michael Pegg. Michael Pegg, I mentioned, was only going to take him about a lap if he wanted to. He is right back up there with Derek Garrison. 2/10 of a second separate first and second. 2/10 of a second separate second and third. And then from Michael to John Held, you've got just over half a second. That 9 either starting to fall off or he's backing up, waiting for something ahead of him to happen. One of the two. He's got a good helper there in the 44 of Jacob. Let me hit the right one. Jacob Edson here. Jacob, he's gonna be content to sit behind John for a while, but we get down to the last 2-3 laps of this thing. I expect to see Jacob Edson really challenge John Held for this 4th position. Derek Garrison saw Michael Pegg going low, maybe thinking that Michael was going to go ahead and try and make a pass there going into turn 1. We saw him high going through turn 2 as well. That's backed him up to 0.3 of a second behind Gary Sapinski. But he's trying to just bait Michael Pegg into running low, maybe running his tires out. If he is, Michael ain't biting. He's maintaining that gap about 1/2 of a second back, not really pushing the car too hard. If Derek's run hard enough that he can't hit that bottom lane anymore, then Michael Pegg is going to do everything he can do with 5 to go. Try and make that pass only when he knows it'll stick. Derek's still able to almost make it down to that white line. Nope, he is able to make it to that white line. So you just opening that door, seeing what Michael Pegg would do with it, and when Michael didn't do anything, he just went back to running his line. And I mean, with where Michael Pegg is sitting right now, I mean, he's got a strong car in the number 9 of John Held behind him. I think if he darts low, John will probably go with him, just in an effort to try and use Michael to at least get that 3rd position. These guys close right back up on those top 3. I mean, they were over a half a second back from Michael Pegg, and here they are. Like I said, that 4 is a fantastic pusher. Go ahead and back this out to TV3. See if we can get a little bit of a wider shot to capture as many of these guys in frame as possible. I think the best. There we go. Maybe go back. Yeah, right here. That 9, John Held. He's looking. He's thinking. But at the same time, I think he knows that these guys ahead of him have to make a mistake. I must say, this is the first time I think I've ever seen a race in Indianapolis not get all strung out. The fact that we have 5 guys still within a second of each other, I think is a testament to the driving ability of all 5 of these drivers. I mean, Gary Sapinski, Derek Garrison, Michael Pegg, John Held, Jacob Edson. These guys show up, they put on a race every single time. And tonight, these 5 are putting on one heck of a show. I mean, I know that it looks like they're just playing follow the leader. Inside these cars, these guys, Jacob Edson got a really good run, thought about it, backed out, decided, nope, we're not going to go ahead, we're not going to pass here because I'm not going to be able to make it work. But that's what these guys are doing. These guys are they're making chess moves every single lap. I bet you that 44 thought he was going to be able to make that pass stick, and just the 9 had a good enough run. Oh, that 139 blocking the 777 down low. We are 2 laps to go. Michael Pegg, man, he had a run. Just wasn't able to go anywhere with it. Is he going to be able to mount any sort of comeback here on Derek Garrison? He is right there. Looks low, looks low, looks low. He's trying to get Derek to block low. He's trying to get him, not able to get him to go down there far enough that he can cut back up high. But he is looking for the chink in that armor, and I think Michael Pegg thinks he might have found it. Here's Sapinski, 0.6 of a second ahead of these guys. Paul Witt drops back here. He is 0.2 behind. Oh, little bit of a shove there by the 9. He backed up before John Held was ready for him. That forces a check up by the 9. That gives the 44 the opportunity to challenge John Held around the outside. I think he's got, and there he is, Jacob Edson into 4th place. That's what he was waiting for. He was waiting for a mistake, and he found it. Unfortunately for Michael Pegg, I don't think he's going to have enough to be able to challenge Derek Garrison for 2nd. But likewise, I don't think Derek Garrison's going to have anything for Gary Slapinski as he heads here through turn 4, unless he runs out of gas, which I don't think he will. I think that's 78. As we see him right now, that's going to be your top 5. Gary Sapinski, your winner here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 2nd, the 139 of Derek Garrison. In 3rd, the 777 of Michael Pegg. In 4th, the 44 of Jacob Edson. And to round out your top 5, the number 9 of John Held. Fantastic job, everybody. 2 cautions tonight. Just a lot of green flag laps. A lot of good racing from all of these guys. Fantastic stuff. So we'll go ahead, we'll gather up our top 3. I don't think Derek Garrison is in the Discord call. Not the TeamSpeak call. Does not appear that he is. And I don't see, so typically if I can't find one of the top 3, I'll take 4th, and I don't see Jacob Edson either. So I think we'll go ahead, we'll grab the number 9 of John Held, who is your 5th place finisher. Michael Pegg was 3rd, and your winner of Gary Slapinski. So I'm gonna go ahead and gather them real quick. Alrighty, so like I said, usually I will start with our 3rd place finisher, but our 2nd place finisher isn't here, and our 4th place finisher isn't here. So we're going to start with our 5th place finisher, Mr. John Held, who is doing a valiant effort trying to get past for that 3rd spot, trying to get past Michael Pegg there. John, this is William in the booth. You got me?
Hey, William, gotcha.
Hey, we were watching that fight. You know, you looked like you were doing everything you could to try and find a chink in Michael Pegg's armor, and just looked like maybe you got caught up a little bit by an unexpected checkup there. Go ahead and walk us through that last green flag run of the race. I mean, we know you like to save tires, and it looked like you had quite a bit saved by the end of this thing.
Yeah, we saved tires most of that run, just riding in behind, and then at the end there, when it got time to go, it was tough to pass. We couldn't carry the low speed up to the top. It was really tough, and Jacob wasn't pushing me whenever I pulled out. I needed him to push past Michael. He wasn't doing that. So, but yeah, that last lap, I think it was. Yeah, Michael checked up maybe a little bit more than I expected to on my. I hit it pretty hard. He held on to it, and I just sort of backed up a bit just to let him just car straight, and that's when Jake went around the other side of me there. But I think we had something for him. Just got a little tougher to pass at the end than I thought it was going to be. Need that help from behind.
Yeah, no, I mean it looked. We did a ride along with Jacob Edson, the guy pushing you, and like we were listening to all the throttle inputs he was having to make to try and be able to make those corners. I mean, it looked like the car just didn't want to turn tonight at all.
Yeah, you had to back the corners up. I mean, you could back them up quite a bit, and then come through the corner pretty hard. But I mean, it still wasn't enough to get you far enough past the guy in front of you. You could take a chance on the outside or the inside, but you wouldn't carry enough speed. So yeah, it was kind of tough to figure out how to get around guys. As you see in that last segment, we kind of ran single file. Everybody was trying to figure out what we needed to do, but you needed that push in the straightaway, I think, to get you past them.
Yeah, and that, without, I agree. I mean, we saw a couple passes, and exactly like what you were saying, we saw the 129 was able to go for a pass, a little bit earlier on, but he had just like you were saying, he needed one heck of a push on that bottom side to make it happen. So I mean,
yeah, when he went around me that one time, he scared the Jesus out of me. He come up on the outside, and he just flew past me. I thought, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a lot of really good racing by everybody tonight, just trying to figure out how to make this tight car turn. And yeah, I want to go ahead and congratulate you. I mean, I know that you finished fifth, but you spent the entire race up there towards the front. And usually, I mean, I mentioned this in the broadcast, but usually when we see people, running, third, fourth, fifth here and on back, there's a huge gap between you guys and the leader, but you all kept it within a second the entire last run.
Yeah, the top 5, I guess it was. Yeah, we stuck right together. Nobody could get away from each other. Nobody had any really major mishaps to get a break there, so you'd lose the draft. So we all just kind of stuck together, but it was tough to pass unless you got that push.
Well, want to congratulate you there on your finish, John, 5th place. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Well, thank you, William, and for putting the broadcast on, Brian and Michael for everything they do with Lucky Dog. And yeah, have a good race tonight. You guys are a good broadcast.
Well, thank you, John. Again, fantastic run, and we hope we get to talk to you next time.
All right, thanks, William.
Yep, thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our 3rd place finisher here, Mr. Michael Pegg. Michael, this is William in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic run from you this evening. Michael, go ahead. I mean, it looked like you were able to, like we were talking about on that restart, you were able to take the lead from Garrison there on that initial start. It looked like maybe you had a little bit of an issue there a little later on. Go ahead and walk us through your last run there. I mean, that seemed like the hardest thing to do was look for an opportunity to pass Derek.
Yeah, I got loose, and that's what gave it back to him. And then I just figured I would just hang on because I didn't think I'd get an opportunity to get around him because I saw it wasn't working for Derek. John tried it on me, and the outside line was faster. And I figured if I gave up the outside, then John would pass me. So you kind of had to guard your position before you could take one. It was tough. It was real tight. The draft was huge. And if you were not on your line, man, you'd pay for it dearly.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were noticing just the, a couple laps where Derek would, move up to the high side. That would really give you an opportunity to really close it. And then, we saw some instances where, the 44 would, Jacob Edson would miss a little bit of his line, and that would back him up. And I mean, the entire thing, I mean, you three there in the top 3 seemed like you were hitting your marks lap after lap after lap, except for Derek. I don't know if he was just trying to test you or missed his mark.
I think both of our tires are wearing pretty good, trying to get around Gary, or he was trying to get around Gary. I mean, I had some tire wear, and I was thinking a lot of that was through draft and driving with 2 feet. But yeah, it's those guys are tough. I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, I mean, in a top 3 finish, especially at a track. I mean, I know you mentioned you did a lot of practice here at Indianapolis when you were learning iRacing, but you started 9th. You came up, you finished 3rd this evening. That's no small feat, especially at such an aero-sensitive track.
Yeah, I had a really good pit stop and was able to get around a few guys tonight. It was pretty good. It was a tough track.
Well, want to congratulate you there on your 3rd place finish there. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank John and those guys. John was racing hard tonight. Jacob's right there. Derek, Gary. I want to thank all the Lucky Dog members, Lucky Dog Broadcast, especially you, William, Brian, for putting everything together. God himself. We want to thank Tracy, Molly, Winston, and Cash, and the regulators.
Well, thank you for taking the opportunity to talk with us, Michael. Congratulations again on your finish, and we hope we get to talk to you next time.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you. And that takes us to our leader, Mr. Gary Sapinski. Gary's swim in the booth. You got me?
Good.
So you came from, I do believe it was 4th on that restart, and you took the lead.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything like that. I don't think we've ever really seen anything like that here before. Go ahead and how were you able to get by? I mean, we know Michael got loose, but how are you able to get by Derek to really take that lead there?
Well, I had to stay right behind Michael. I said, Michael, I'm going to try to push you out there because at the beginning, man, he got me on the beginning. I don't know if you can see it. He just got me. I was like, wow, this outside can work. You know, you get the momentum and everything. And I was like, let me try to get right behind you, Mike, and I'll push you out front. And which it did work. You know, I was side by side with Derek and everything. And once he got out front, he said he got loose. I was like, I thought he was pulling off. I swear I thought he was pulling off. Something happened. And he was like, no, I got loose. I was like, oh my God, you just totally gave up the lead there. Because he definitely could have won the race. There was just like no passing somebody equal speed. It was just impossible. I tried. You can see it on Derek. I tried numerous of times. Once you get side by side, it's just like there's an elephant on your hood. You just can't turn. It's just a plow. It's terrible. It was terrible. Clean air is king, for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what it was about the track tonight, but it seems so much tighter here than it usually is at Indianapolis. I mean, in your experience, I mean, by way of good or ill handling cars, how does this one rate, on our average Indianapolis visits?
It real tight. It was. If you see me, I was all the way down the rumble strips looking for grip, just to make it turn, make it loose. I mean, I almost went down in the grass a couple of times just to see if I can make it a little looser. It wasn't all that great. It was definitely a little tight tonight. I don't know, it was some kind of update thing. And you figure you have plenty of grip. I mean, it's cloudy. I mean, it looks like it's going to rain. It should be tons of grip.
Yeah, but no, we did a ride along with Jacob Edson and just listening to him stab at the throttle trying to get that thing to turn, and it was. I mean, this was definitely I would say this was possibly the hardest race I think we've had all season so far. And I had fun. I mean, from a driver's perspective, was it an enjoyable event?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I enjoyed it. Not that I didn't enjoy it. I always kind of like it around here. But it was tough to pass. It was totally tough to pass. I mean, you had to work to get at one position. I just literally, I just got lucky. I got definitely lucky tonight to come home at victory lane tonight. Because I mean, I had a couple good pits during caution and stuff, but that one was the first caution. I slid through my pit stall and I lost